Okay, so it seems like there's been even more to do with the whole Novel Horizons situation. Now, if you guys don't know, obviously Novel Horizons is a figure slash, merch, whatever company that was essentially doing a lot of stuff for VTubers until they went bankrupt. And well, it seems like now they find themselves in a pretty sticky situation because they have a bunch of different VTuber figures and things that they are yet to fulfill, but they have nothing to fulfill them with, right? And many VTubers have been calling them out. Many VTubers have been posting messages saying sorry to their audiences. And essentially, yeah, it seems like this company is completely cooked. Obviously, it's cooked anyways because it's going bankrupt, but it's even further cooked because, lots of people have put money into pre-orders. And I know some of you guys have as well. Like my viewers have, which again, as I said, go to your bank, just call them up and ask them and tell them, and sometimes they might even give you an extension. So even if you think it's too late or whatever, just call them up and see what you can do about it, because again, it's better to get your money back. But yeah, essentially lots of people have been trying that method because there isn't really a way of getting a refund, right? A refund isn't really possible, and now it's become more of a job, well, not a job, but like a thing for the VTuber, to try and sort out, which again, to be fair, they don't actually have to do, but obviously a lot of the VTubers that have been affected are very, very nice, and they are trying to do whatever they can to make it up to their audience, who have obviously spent a lot of money on this, because as we covered in the last video, their figures are not cheap, right? They cost a couple of hundred of dollars, right? It's kind of crazy how much, Zentrea one, for example, 189 pounds, which is obviously like, yeah, $230, something like that, which again is a lot of money. But again, lots of other VTubers have been coming out now with their own, kind of experiences and things, including Yoshi here saying, I was the first VTuber to make figurines with a Novel Horizon. When they reached out to me, they had one single example on their website of a figurine of this scale, and I thought it was a huge opportunity to make a figure as a small-scale VTuber at the time. The person I was talking to was the noveler himself, and he was always incredibly kind and attentive. Listened to my wishes at all times, and we made the perfect figurine, almost. It started going somewhat south when I asked for updates on when they would finally get shipped, because I got plenty of videos from him showing me the army of beautiful figurines painted and ready to go since months after pre-orders ended. That's when Noveler told me in DMs that first that Rye, the huge snake add-on on my figurine, unfortunately was hit by the Texas heat, and as to most of it unfortunately melted in the warehouse and or during transit. So that heat wave had to be waited out before anything else could be ready shipped safely. I'm not sure if they had leftovers or if the right add-on, or if they had to get it reproduced in the end, which again was a similar thing that we saw with other VTubers talking about this. They also said that some of their products got melted and things like that, which obviously seems like they didn't have the right resources to really be, kind of handling figures and this kind of plastic. It means that the figure kind of quality isn't high enough. I feel like I feel like the plastic that they used clearly isn't high enough quality for it to, obviously withstand heat and things. And two, they don't have the right facilities to keep it cool and keep their warehouses cool. Because as I said, I've got tons of figures. For example, I've got like this is probably, oh no, do I have any others? I don't know. I think this is probably the only VTuber figure I have. I'm not sure if I got any others, but I got this Vey one, right? Which is obviously, was it Pop-Up Parade, the dep? Obviously whenever V Shoujo was a thing, RIP. But essentially I've got that one, right? And we had a heat wave, right? And of course it gets very, very hot in here. We don't have any air conditioning, but all of my figures survived, right? Because it's good quality plastic that can handle a little bit of heat, right? I as I said, no aircon. It was absolutely boiling in here to the point where I was like sweating like 24/7. And yeah, all of the figures survived, right? None of them melted. None of them had any problems. They're totally fine. And yeah, like I feel like heat shouldn't really be a factor. But of course, if you use a cheaper plastic, sometimes, yes, that can now be a factor. So I think that's why that was kind of the case. But as I said, if you know that you're using cheaper plastic, you should probably store it in a better way, or even rethink it after it, melts the first time and be like, maybe we shouldn't use this, right? So it took a while, but they still got shipped out the same year. Pre-order started. I consider myself lucky that my community was not hit by a 2-year-long wait or worse. But then again, I'm pretty sure I was the only big figurine project they were working on at the time. In 2024, I asked the noveler if it would be okay to possibly make a second figurine with them, and wanted it to set as one of my subathon goals. I got confirmation that I can do that, but it never happened in the end. Instead, every time I asked, the topic was changed to making different merch instead of having a meet and greet at different cons. Now I know why. I just wish he would have been honest with me instead of avoiding planning a second figurine. I believe Noveler and Novel Horizons have never had any ill intentions, but I know that they bit off a bit more than they could chew. Overwhelming their team with a lot of merch production on top of figurine production was maybe a bit too ambitious. So yeah, that's what it seems like to me as well. I don't necessarily think that, you know, that they are bad people per se, the people that run Novel Horizons, right? I feel like they were very overly ambitious and has ended up causing in a huge mess, right? Saying it makes me sad that the subathon goal was hit by my wonderful community, but ultimately I will not be able to deliver that goal in the end. I'm so sorry for that. I'm also sorry for anyone still waiting for their order and might never ever receive it in the end. Maybe it's stupid to think this, but in a way I feel kind of responsible for shedding light on Novel Horizons as the first VTuber doing a figurine drop with them. In any case, if you're one of the ones waiting for your order, please check the recent post from Hype Brand about this situation. They are willing to see what they can do to help. So yeah, obviously, as we saw, Hype wanted to get involved and help out people. Obviously, I know they make PC cases. I actually have one of their PC cases, but obviously they have the, I guess, facilities to create other things too. And you can see that they wanted to help out with the VTuber stuff as well. So that's great. Grimmy also has been looking at support systems as well, saying for refunds, if your bank chargeback fraud claims fail, please email at Grimmy. Obviously, you know, saying like, hey, check with your bank first, because of course you can just get it back, you know, no problems. I've done it one time before where I got scammed on something. And essentially I literally just went to the bank. I said, hey, I got scammed on this. They asked for a bit of information from it, and they said, okay, yeah, we'll give you the money back. And obviously, if they can provide proof that they've sent it to you, if they can provide like proof that they've delivered it to you, then we'll have to take that money back and things like that, right? Which of course, you know, if it's a scam and if you're not going to get the thing, well, you know, they're not going to be able to, you know, provide proof of delivery or anything like that, which in my case, they didn't. So you get to keep the money, right? So that's all good. But of course, sometimes there's a time limit to it. So I would do it now rather than later, because again, you're going to run out of time. But for the people that didn't manage to do that, apparently, yeah, you can request it here. Now, this is only for Grimmy, right? Just to kind of make that clear, like if you bought like a Zentrea figure or whatever and it didn't come, or if you bought a, you know, whoever else, right? Anybody else, right? If you bought another VTuber figure and it didn't show up, then obviously check to see if they have anything going like this similar, because I know some of them are. I know Amalee is trying to sort things out too. So again, just check with them, with the VTuber that is your figure, and then do that. But obviously, if you go to Grimmy Coin, for example, then obviously go to Grimmy, right? So of course, you know, just do it for her stuff only. Other merch, obviously besides the coin orders, I'll very likely have access to it, and we'll be able to fulfill these orders with just me and my mum packing them. So yeah, it seems like they are trying to work on things. It seems like it's mainly been put on the VTubers now to, you know, kind of figure out what they can do, which obviously, as I said, you know, it's not their fault or anything, but it seems that they're nice enough to try and figure things out for themselves, right? Obviously, we did read this huge tweet from Zentrea talking about her kind of experiences with Novel Horizons. If you guys want to go look at that, you can. It was in the last video. So yeah, obviously we read through that. But obviously, a lot of people have been raising different concerns, but mainly there has been support for Zentrea. I think a lot of people have been supporting her quite a bit because, of course, you know, she's been involved in a lot of situations recently. And it just sucks that, you know, she's been caught in another one. I'm sure a lot of these VTubers want to escape it, including like Henya and people like that too, obviously part of, you know, VShojo, and ended up, you know, this happening. It's just kind of sad to see, right? But yeah, of course, we continue on. Obviously, you got Lucia as well saying, regarding my Novel Horizons figure, if you recently bought one and did not receive it, please email this email and give them the tracking number, etc. So again, they also are sorting things out, of course, as well. L saying, hey, I know you've been asking for merch forever. I was actually in the middle of planning a drop with Novel Horizons. Given everything that's come to light and how they treated us in the space, and including my friends, and them going out of business, that drop is officially on hold. I'm already sourcing new distributors, so if I can bring you, merch you've long waited for. So yeah, obviously other VTubers looking to go to other companies for this kind of stuff. And finally, as well, obviously a fan who's bought some of the merch from Novel Horizons apparently called the bank and filed for a dispute for my Novel Horizons figure. I was looking forward to it, but unfortunately, it is what it is. This is also the first time I've filed a dispute in life, which again, of course, it's just one of those things where, again, be like this person, right? That's why I've included it in this video, right? Be like this person. Go to your bank, just call them up, just search up the number on Google, and just tell them what happened, essentially. And you know, if they want proof, give them the proof, and then they should be able to sort it out, right? Obviously, as I said, sometimes there is a time limit on how close you can do it, but sometimes they can give you a bit of wiggle room if it's been something like a pre-order that's taken so long, right? So just check, right? Don't like sit there and do nothing and maybe expect them to, like, you know, give you your money back one day. Actually get up, do something, and go and try and get this, you know, kind of cash back, because it definitely does work. It definitely does help. And yeah, you will be able to get that money back if you do try it, right? But yeah, that is essentially all there is for an update for the Novel Horizons situation. Again, it's been pretty crazy to see all the responses and stuff from VTubers and VTuber fans that have been pretty upset by everything that's gone on. But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.